صباح الخير. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa Juma Mubarak. I love Juma. I'm trying so hard to genuinely get back into my Juma routine. It really is just made a huge change in my life, and I can tell a huge difference whenever I fall out of it. I like to remember that the Prophet ﷺ would make taking care of himself a priority and like sacred on Fridays. He clipped his nails, he shaved, he made ghusl, he put on his best clothing, etc. And so that is exactly like what I try to do. The way that this makes me smile so big, because genuinely reading the Quran with like context is how I first was brought to my knees and then brought to Islam. No joke. Then I started to learn about the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ and the way that Islam and Christianity and Judaism are all connected, and subhanallah, it is beautiful. Keep going. And subhanAllah, I remember like learning about how post 9/11, you know, the uprise in Islamophobia was so severe, but it was partnered with a mass conversion of people to Islam, because they see what's happening. So many people will hear about it and will want to know. They want to be curious, and they will start looking, they'll start asking questions, and they will find the truth, and that is Islam. Subhanallah. And I already know what's happening now. I have been really inspired lately to re-pick up this book, The Prophet's Pulpit, Commentaries on the State of Islam. This is by Dr. Khalid Abu Fadl, and to be honest with you, it's one of the most inspiring books that I've read since I have converted to Islam, and it is one that makes me feel the most full of passion, and the one that reminds me the most of what it is and what it means to be Muslim. Right now, we're seeing an influx, a mass conversion of people who are seeing the Palestinians, who are inspired by them, and who are looking at Islam, and in turn looking at us, people who were born Muslim, people who are converts, and what we're doing and how we're acting and what we're saying during this time. So I digress. I'm going to read this to you, just a couple of excerpts out of this that I find to just be extremely inspiring, and something that I think if you are a born Muslim, if you are a convert, if you're just a human being who comes across this and is like, man, there's a lot of people going to Islam. What does that mean? What does it mean to be Muslim? I feel like this right here will speak to that. Just a reminder, if it's prayer time wherever you are at, try your best to stop whatever it is that you're doing, make wudu, and go pray, because even though it might be really, really difficult, there's so much reward in making Allah first. And the thing is that like I speak to myself first. Like I remind myself first here, and this is more of just kind of like my own little personal yet public reminder to myself, because I really have been struggling lately. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, probably every month close to my cycle, I really struggle to pray. Do any other women have that same like experience? I have a harder time connecting. I have a harder time just dropping whatever I'm doing and like getting to it and like connecting with my creator. I don't know. So if you're Muslim, just remember everything prescribed to us from the Creator is for our own good. It helps me during prayer to remember that we say Allahu Akbar because it means God is greater, meaning greater than anything. So drop it and come to Allah. And if you're not Muslim, subhanAllah, it's still an amazing practice to drop everything and connect with your surroundings. So when I first was converting to Islam, one thing that I was absolutely obsessed with was science. And one thing that really drove me was how much science was involved with Islam. So I dove into this and I reached out to one of my favorite sheikhs, Shohab Webb, and he actually confirmed this for me. So I nerded out so hard because like I came up with that theory when I read it myself and then it was confirmed. So I was like, I'm kind of smart. Oh my God. So in the Quran, Surah 32, Ayat 4, I believe, it discusses how God spends aeons creating the earth. Now, it specifically mentions 6, and humans, as we interpret aeons, we interpret that as billions. And the Quran specifically mentions 6 aeons, right? Okay. So history and science have confirmed for us that historically the world has been destroyed 5 times over billions of years, right? Now, Muslims, we call it Qiyamat, Judgment Day, and we believe that this will be when the world is destroyed. Now, if you look at that, that's going to be the 6th time that the world has been destroyed. So I'm reading this and I'm like, hold on, this has to be connected, right? Like, is the Quran literally telling us 1500 years ago that we're going to confirm that the world has been destroyed 5 times over billions of years and that there's going to be one final time, Judgment Day, right? We expect one more time. If you follow any Abrahamic religion, like you believe in Judgment Day. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What does Quran chapter 2 191 through 193 say? I love this question. Now before I get started, I want to just briefly show you guys what translation I purposely am using right now because I absolutely love and adore it and I was going to share it anyways. This is the Holy Quran in today's English by Yahya Imrek. I personally absolutely love and adore this book because the language and the verbiage used is so much more intentional and it is such a great representation of the true meaning of what the Quran is saying in these ayats. I love it. Whenever you translate from Arabic to English, sometimes you can lose context and sometimes they don't choose the best words to represent what it means. You don't have this problem with this book. Also, when it comes down to it, the revelations from the Quran all have tafsir. They all have context. They all have deep research that goes into what they mean and their purpose. Bismillah, let's get into it. Let's see what you're so curious about. It would be best for their husbands to reconcile with them in that case, if they were inclined to reconcile. Remember that women have rights just as men do in all fairness, though men have been given an edge over them. And Allah is powerful and wise. 191. A divorce pronouncement can only be revoked twice. After that, they must either reconcile one and for all and stay together lovingly, or they must end the relationship in a spirit of all fairness. 193. You men are not allowed to take back anything you gave to your wives unless both sides fear breaking the rules by Allah. All right, so 191 through 193. So I guess you're curious about probably 191, right? That's what most people try to tell us women, that if we come to Islam, we're going to be oppressed, right? That's what you're getting at? Bless your heart. Let's talk about it. Here's the tafsir for verse 190. Remember that women have rights just as men do in all fairness, though men have been given an edge over them. Tafsir. The edge that this verse refers to is the fact that men are obligated to care for women and thus have more responsibility. This translates into a few seemingly inequitable things at first, such as men who receive twice inheritance of a woman. However, the seeming advantage actually rebounds back upon them, for men are responsible to spend of their money on their family, while women are not obligated to do so. Further, men must pay a dowry to their brides and also support their elderly parents and all other disadvantaged relatives. When Allah specifies that men have obligations, responsibilities, edges over women, it's not referencing our rights to humanity, to fairness, to life, to meaning that we are equal in all aspects of equality. It's talking about equity. In Islam, my husband would receive significant more inheritance than, let's say, if he had a sister. Why? because my husband is responsible to take the money that he receives and give it to his family and make sure that he is providing for his family. He is obligated to Allah for that. Whatever money that the woman receives, that is her money. She does with it what she wants. She does not have to do anything for a man or anyone else. So yeah, men have been given an edge. That edge is responsibility. It's additional obligations. It's to be uplifting and upholding women. That's what that edge is. So no, you cannot twist my religion. You cannot twist words of Al-Quran to make me fear my religion or feel less about who I am within my religion.